All right, I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna cut the music. I'm gonna show my screen. So hope you guys are doing great. I'm super excited to be here. Just want to say thanks again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you guys are running your businesses, and so I'm Rishi Shah, and this webinar is 5 list scoring secrets revealed. I'm the CEO and founder of Digioh, and we're partnered up with companies that you guys love: Mailchimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, Vertical Response, Infusionsoft, Campaign Monitor, Mad Mimi, and there's 20 other partnerships that we have. But we love our partners, and we love working with them. So if you're using their product and using ours, it's an amazing partnership that we have. So this presentation is called 5 list scoring secrets revealed. A little bit about myself, just so you know where I come from and how I got to where I am. I graduated in 2004. I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison. I did electrical engineering. I started a club called Joke Club. And the first thing we did was we launched a website. And that's when I kind of got my first taste of internet marketing. And that's kind of got my first taste of email marketing. I couldn't get people back to the site. The way I got them back to the site was just straight up sending them an email every day with it was called the joke of the day. After I graduated, 2 years later, I started a company called Flying Cart. It was an easy way to kind of create an online store and sell products. We got it to about 10,000 e-commerce stores. It's still around today. And the biggest thing we learned there was, again, email marketing. You send an email, boom, you can make money. So it's the same pattern again. Email marketing was just huge. I left that about 3 years ago and started a company called Digioh. And we focused on straight up email marketing, helping people get more email addresses and helping them be better at what they do, because we realized how important that was in both my past experiences. So we built apps for email marketers. We've helped over 10,000 customers now, and we've helped collect over 10 million leads for our customers. And then on the side, kind of as a fun side project, I love web marketing. That's something I'm obsessed in. I have I've blogged about over 300 web marketing principles, tips, case studies on my own personal blog called gettingmoreawesome.com. Feel free to check it out after this webinar. My tips have been featured in Business Week, Entrepreneur, US News, all over the web. And I really just talk about marketing and on the web. That's kind of my forte. So here we are. We're going to get started. That's a little bit about me. And now I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned on how to grow lists. And I've worked with companies like Holiday Inn, Bombardier, as well as lots of small business companies as well. We have over 10,000 clients and counting at this point, and I'm excited to share these tips. I've also done a lot of studying on companies like Adobe, Starbucks. How are they growing their list, and how can I help my clients grow their list just like the experts or the pros do? So list growing secret, I'm going to get right into it. List growing secret number 1. And this may sound like a really simple concept, but it sounds amazing. I've seen all the big brands do it. They sound amazing. And what does that mean? How do big companies sound amazing? It's really simple. They tell people what they want to hear. That's it. They just tell people exactly what they want to hear. So for example, we look at Subway. What are they doing? Instead of calling their fast food retail reps sandwich makers, they call them sandwich artists. Who doesn't want an artist crafting their perfect lunch? It's a great thing to say. Call them an artist. Put some avocado on it in a great way to make your sandwich taste perfect. Instead of calling, for example, who do you want showing up at your door? Do you want someone like Fabio showing up to fix your computer? No, you want a geek. So GEEK Squad did a very amazing thing. They branded their entire product around geeks, people that you want to show up at your door to actually fix your computer. You don't want a good-looking guy. Another one is Apple. Apple does everything amazingly well, as we know. They don't call their people behind their tech support people tech support. They call them geniuses. Something you almost as if like a godlike figure. They call them the genius bar, for example. So they're just telling people what they want to hear. You want a genius to look at your laptop. A big problem in the back 80s, there was a guy named Stephen Urkel on the show called Family Matters, and he got stigmatized the small car. And what the smart car did was they made it smart. Hey, it's a smart decision. They're telling people what they want to hear. Like, I don't want to be known as a loser driving a small car. I want the smart choice, the smart car. Odwalla did a great job telling people what they want to hear. For example, they don't call their juice a big bottle of sugar. They call it the heart health, something you can drink and your heart gets better right away. Another great example is P90, and this worked really well on me. So P90 is a home fitness, a DVD fitness solution. So you just pop in a DVD, and these training videos come on, and you do these workouts. And they don't talk about DVDs or anything. They talk about their domain name is Beachbody, achieving that perfect body for the beach weather, and they totally get inside your head. Unfortunately, this totally worked on me. I bought it, and it's still in my closet. So now this is great. These big brands, they can sound amazing. They have these big marketing budgets, but how can you sound amazing? Like, what's the trick? And it's super easy. Just tell people what they want to hear. And I know that may sound a little shady, but people want to believe in you. They want to know that you can help increase their business, you can help save them money, and your business can help solve the problem that they need. So what is the biggest problem that you could solve for them? And they'll believe in you. I mean, people really want to believe in your business. People have a problem, and they want to know someone can solve it, and they're a master at it. So when people start believing in you, you start actually believing in yourself. It's kind of a fun thing. And I'm getting into the email marketing principles in a little bit, but this is kind of important where when you start believing in yourself, you can actually, you start actually doing it, being the expert that you always knew you could be. So when I started calling myself a web marketing master, for example, I actually got a lot more confidence, and it actually made me get a lot more customers, which was kind of a funny thing. So here are some quick tips on how to sound amazing. One, don't use words like telemarketer. Don't use those kind of words. Use words that strike an emotion, like fresh, healthy, artist, for example, like in Subway, and make yourself sound awesome. Instead of calling yourself a marketer, call yourself a web marketer or a guru. And here's some quick tips. So give yourself a title that means something. So instead of using the word analyst, use the word data scientist. The word data scientist has been all the rage these days. Instead of calling yourself a marketer, call yourself a guru. Instead of calling yourself a manager, call yourself a revenue expert. Something that really means something. I mean, who doesn't want to work with a revenue expert? So let me ask you something before we get started. Why do you want to grow your list? And the answer is easy. For example, raise your hand. I mean, everyone should be raising their hand right now. If you want more email leads, raise your hand. And everyone should be raising their hand. And the answer is obvious. We've seen this in all of the business that we've done. People just want more emails because they can make more sales. They can make more money. They have more chances to acquire an actual paying customer. So hopefully you're raising your hand, and you need more emails. So now, how do companies build their email list fast? What are companies doing right now? And one simple strategy that's working, they're simply incentivizing them. They're using digital incentives to get people to put in their email address. I give you something, you give me something. So for example, this is list growing secret number 2, using free incentives. For example, Starbucks has one of the biggest email lists on the planet, great brand. What do they say? Register and get free drinks. So literally you give them an email address and they'll give you a free drink. So that's like, $2 in value or $3 in value, and you join their email list. Second thing, this is another beverage company. Sign up for exclusive benefits. So in this case, they're not even giving you a free drink. They're not even telling you what they're giving you. They're just saying, look, you get on our VIP program, you get our exclusive benefits. You give us your email address, we'll give you on our exclusive membership benefits package. Here's another one, TripAdvisor. So when I was researching trips for my honeymoon about 2 years ago, I went to TripAdvisor. I did a Google search, went to TripAdvisor, and they said, hey, you can get some of our guides for free when you join. So again, they're just giving me free guides. And this is something that's free for them. For them to write up a guide probably took, a couple of hours, and now they're probably acquiring tons of email addresses through just this simple Lightbox form. Here's another customer of ours, Ian Plant, a famous photographer. He gives photo tips, 20 photo tips. He put together a sweet PDF, type in your name and email, you get the free PDF, and he gets the email address on his list. He grew his list by about 3,000 email addresses a month, just by this incentive right here. So this is great. I just showed you some big brands, but I know what you're thinking. I don't have anything good to give out, right? This is always a problem. Like, well, I'm a different type of company. I don't have anything good to give. Totally get it. I was in the same position as well. So here are 3 simple things that I've seen work again and again. One is a checklist. So if you're like a small business in a competitive local market, 10 things you must know before selecting a carpet cleaner. This way, it shows you as a kind of a trusted source. Like, hey, I'm going to show you what to look for if you're looking for a carpet cleaner. Even if you don't pick me, I'm going to tell you exactly what. And this way, you also have their email address, and you can follow up with them saying like, hey, what did you think of my checklist, or who'd you go with, or do you want a phone call consultation? The second thing that works extremely well, probably better than the checklist, is a downloadable coupon. Now, Bed Bath & Beyond does this all day long. You get them in the mail, you get them online, 20% off anything in the store, get your email address. Now, this works really well if you have an e-commerce site or a retail store and you have good margins, so 20% off is okay. Now, the third thing I see a lot of complex businesses doing, so if you have like a complex product and your product is worth like more than $10,000 or you're a consultant, a case study, an informational brochure case study. Talk about a customer, put together like a 1 or 2 page PDF about something you did for a client and then put it up on your site. And in order to download that case study, you have to put in your email address. And this way, this is another reason you could follow up with someone. So list growing secret number 3. So I'm going through this pretty quickly, so feel free to ask questions. I'll get to them at the end of this webinar. List growing secret number 3. And this is kind of something that you see a lot of bloggers doing these days, but not a lot of small businesses. So pop quiz. What gets more traffic? Your website or a bigger, more established blog? So the answer is super obvious here, just because I made it super obvious. Of course, the answer is the bigger, more established blog. Bigger, more established blogs, all they do is focus on traffic. That's all they care about. They make all their money through ads. They're not like mine and your business where you make money by paying customers. They get paid based on impressions. So all they're doing is trying to maximize traffic. So to grow your list, there's 3 things to focus on. This is something that I got from one of my list growing mentors. He said, focus on traffic, and more traffic. And I always thought that was funny. And he was right. The more eyeballs that you can get towards your blog post, the more people you can possibly acquire. So, how do you get the opportunity to do guest blog posts? It seems like, okay, there's all these famous, brands that can do guest blog posts because they have that brand. And the answer is really simple. I have a 5-step plan, and I've done this. I'm going to show you how I did it, and you can follow my 5-step plan. Step 1, pick the subscribers you want. So if you're a small business and you know where your customers live, find out where they live. And there's 2 ways you can find that out. So one, you can use SurveyMonkey or Google Docs and ask them a question. Just send them a mailer that says, hey, what blogs do you read or what sites do you go on? And I'll give you a free $5 Starbucks coupon if you answer this for your time. And this way you can get probably hundreds of answers of what blogs they read or websites they go to. And then you can take those lists of those blogs and then target them and ask them for a guest blog post. So then you have a list. Step 2. So once you have your list, and you can also do this by doing a random Google search on some topics in your area and seeing, what blogs are out there for your Google search. So step 2, make sure the blog you want to write for actually has readers. You don't want to, you want to make sure that you're going to put some time into this. You want to make sure it actually gets some volume. And there have been times where I go to the blog post, I spent like, 10 hours writing a guest blog post, and it's crickets. I don't hear anything from anyone. And I feel like a waste. So make sure there's actual activity on that blog. So one quick trick is, make sure there's some comments. Even if there's one comment, that means there's at least a few activity there. And then make sure that, you can also make sure they have tweets. Now, they don't have to be as high as these numbers, but even just like, 5 tweets or like a few Google Pluses or even like 2 LinkedIn shares or a few likes, that means there's a lot of activity on that site. But if there's 0 on everything, 0 comments, 0 tweets, 0 everything, don't waste your time. So this is a great way to make sure you're spending your time wisely.